Social media, something that just about every individual in today's society interacts with, yet one of the most dangerous and least understood forms of modern-day technology. Sites such as Instagram and Facebook are two examples of some of the bigger social media platforms. When logging into these sites, you're expected to always look through a terms and conditions page where you review all the rules for that specific site, such as the basic age restriction, stating that no one under the age of 13 is allowed to have access to it. But what is behind all of this? Why do we need it? COPPA. But hold on, let's back up a minute. In 1998, Congress approved this law hoping to protect younger children from having access to harmful or inappropriate material on the internet. However, it wasn't until the year 2000 that it actually went into effect.
Theoretically, you could view COPPA as a speed bump, that there aren't, within reason, there aren't particular prohibited practices, but you have to insert a parent or someone putatively, as an adult, into the decision making to what will go on in this environment.
And while this law may have seemed like the ideal solution at the time, how effective is it 21 years later?
One important thing to think about as background for the COPPA law, which is often overlooked, is that it's very easy for children to simply press a button or lie about their age online to gain access to a website or digital service that is not collecting data and securing that data in a way that would be compliant with COPPA.
As a kid, signing up for sites like Instagram and stuff, and even mobile games, you would always have to put in an age, and they would say, oh, you can't play this game unless you're 13 or something. All you had to do was just say that you were a little older than you actually were, and you could access all this stuff. It wasn't that hard. If you were a kid and you wanted to get on a website, you could.
Now let's take a closer look at what the statistics say. According to Consumer Reports, out of the 20 million minors who actively used Facebook in the year 2011, 7.5 million of them were under the age of 13. In the same year, a Pew Research study on adolescent use of social media found that about 44% of teens online have lied about their age in order to access a website or create an online account. According to this data, it's clear that the effectiveness of this law is definitely questionable.
All it requires is parental consent, and then you're good to go. Is it really so simple?
It's not, and that's probably the biggest failing of COPPA. I think when Congress enacted COPPA, it assumed that there would become sort of automated mechanisms in which people could get that parental consent, and no good mechanisms have actually evolved. So that part of COPPA has always been this big gaping hole that Congress thought was going to be sort of the safety net for COPPA.
Platforms will simply say, if you're under 13, you cannot use our platform. But the kids are absolutely on those platforms. And they're experiencing something that wouldn't be that different from books and media and television from decades ago. But what is majorly different is that companies are collecting lots and lots of digital traces, everything from photos to videos, words, things that they say. And in fact, what COPPA doesn't do is provide the kind of personal, one-on-one explanation to parents about what the implications, what data is being collected, who controls that data, how will it be utilized. The protections that we afford about their private data in other domains of life simply don't extend to clicking a checkbox of, yes, I consent.
One of the parts of the debate that I think are really important for us to consider here is an enduring tension between the rights of an individual to be protected and their rights of freedom. And I think what COPPA is trying to do is focus on the protection of children, which of course, like many other vulnerable sections of our population, we do want to protect them. But we have to balance that protection with also preserving their rights in terms of being individuals. They are human rights, they are rights of expression, the rights to freedom. And this tension is not something that was created by COPPA, and unfortunately it's not going to be resolved by COPPA.
The big question is, how do we balance these really good protections with ensuring that there is this nice diversity and democracy of content coming on, and how do we get people who are complying in this post-2013, post-settlement world information so that they can do the right thing.
Though it's clear that this law has many unresolved issues, to this day it's still the longest standing online privacy law ever created in the United States, and in fact was the first. And for this reason, COPPA, despite its flaws, plays a significant role in the future of our society as technology and social media are becoming more and more implemented into our everyday lives, especially for minors.
In some ways, I really applaud them as being pioneers in getting some legislation into our government that acknowledged the important and critical role of the government in supporting and protecting data and privacy of our children.